I'm going to change your life forever today. Once you realize how reality actually works, in this video, I'm going to share some knowledge, real life evidence, and firsthand experience going through the frequency shifts. A lot of us think that reality is physical and we have to do physical things to get an outcome, or, we don't understand why a certain situation or event constantly loops and we can't break out of it. In today's lesson, you're going to learn the truth about reality. Once you understand that reality works based upon frequency, vibration, and homeostasis. Our body has a specific life maintaining condition. It's called homeostasis. Well, our reality actually has a homeostasis as well. So if you want to finally shift your life, if you finally said, you know what, I'm done, you're going to opt out. Are you opting out of the modern life? A lot of people that are part of this channel and community have already opted out of the modern life. So now it's time to switch modes. You're switching from NPC mode to creator mode, and you're about to take back control of your everyday life. Through the seasons that I've been through, I've realized there were changes, and you learn about reality through compare and contrast. When I compare and contrast seasons, pre and post quantum events, I've had great things happen in my life, and then afterwards, a string of great things continued. And in a post-2020 world, a lot of us took on traumas. And in this lesson today, you have to understand that we hold the traumas in our body. Our nervous system gets rewired. And we hold imprints in our fascia. So once you have an experience, and this experience, it's not your fault. We all go through these things, but maybe you were betrayed, maybe you were attacked, maybe anything that is negative under the sun happens to you. It happens to all of us. But the way that we perceive that event, we can take it hard, and we could hold this trauma of the event and store this trauma in the solar plexus. It could leave an imprint in our nervous system, and it could leave an imprint in our fascia. So the journey that we go on, the pre and post, I was very blessed in life. I had a great childhood and great parenting. Okay. And, I went out in the dating world, and, I met a lot of nice people and a lot of, great positive experiences with women. And then in our lives, we go through an event, and, we could be betrayed. We could be, people could put sabotage on us. We could be attacked. A lot of people are attacked on social media for speaking the truth, right? So when bad things happen, or in the lens of, it's a negative, catalyst event, and a lot of things in life that at first glance look negative, it actually catapults us to a new season. And then we could actually look back on it and be very grateful for that event. So please keep that in mind. So upon the moment that you have this event, it could be a betrayal, it could be sabotage, it could be an attack, any negative effect in the workplace. Your work was stolen. All right. You go out and post your stuff on social media, right? And the clowns of clown world come to gaslight you, and you feel shame inside. We hold shame in the solar plexus. So all of a sudden, you will, after that moment, right? And I could see this in my life. There were, peaceful times in my life. There were supported times in my life. And then a lot of us went through some crazy things post 2020. All right, a lot of us know about the world events, and there's actually a big spiritual awakening that's happening post 2020. And in those years of 2020 and 2021, it was events that we've never experienced before, but it shaped us and molded us. But we had to, all of us collectively, had to go through this in order for humanity to change as a whole, and for us to implement personally changes in our life, to see the bigger picture. And we took on damage. And until you clear the solar plexus, that anxiety of the future, fear of the future, held in the solar plexus. That anger is held in the liver, and you're storing that anger in, and it could be also healthy anger, as Dr. Gabor calls it. That's your spiritual immune system telling you this is not right. There's something wrong about this, right? My worthiness is being violated. My human rights are being violated. So we hold it in the liver. That's the anger. Our nervous system is now set to fight or flight. Your reticular activating system is looking for now threats moving forward. Now, you all of a sudden are being maybe betrayed in the workplace, and then you could go to a different place and it's the same thing and it's the same loop. Or maybe you're a loving person and you want to find a loving guy or gal out there, and all of a sudden you see the representation of more of the same. Well, our nervous system is now wired a certain way, and our reticular activating system, and through a frequency, we do not want the familiar past to pop up again. The information here is going to really help us, because there's nothing that you could have quick fixes, but the long underlying subconscious program of the quantum event that molded you and shaped you, and we get a little afraid. We have a lot of trauma, we have a lot of anger, all these things that are built up. You have imprints that are actually affected in certain parts of the body, and that is in our fascia, and is a muscle that covers our whole body, and especially in the psoas muscle. And that psoas muscle is known as the spiritual muscle. And a lot of shame, and this, again, we're going down to the solar plexus. So that this whole area of the body, right? It's like a portal to a new dimension, when you are able to clear all the anxieties, the anger, the knots that you might have in your stomach, in the fascia, in the psoas muscle. So when you say to yourself, you know what, these things happen to me, and you're not realizing that you're broadcasting a frequency. And even though your rational mind or your conscious mind is, I'm working hard, but for some reason something's off in the work. I'm well put together, right? But for some reason it's very difficult to find an equally yoked relationship. I'm seeing a lot of negativity out there. Well, this is the residue that is stored in all of these areas of the body, and our nervous system is set to fight or flight. So we want to regulate the nervous system. So what are the things that I have implemented in my everyday life to assist in all these different facets? Fasting is important, and utilizing fasting to tap into the body's natural ability to achieve autophagy. Our body knows how to get rid of old cell parts and dead cells and all of the old. In the modern life, people are trained to eat, constantly, and they're not giving their body a chance to kind of address all of that negativity that has to leave. Cellular trauma at a cellular level. And clearing out the midsection. So fasting, sitting in the sauna actually enhances autophagy. Walking barefoot, walking barefoot for miles in nature. I can't begin to tell you how many miles I've tracked. I share about health and wellness and fitness. There's nothing that you could do on a treadmill that can supplement the the energetic changes of walking barefoot in nature. Okay, so you could try to burn fat on a treadmill and count calories and all that, but that's irrelevant, and it doesn't matter how much that you do until you fix the nervous system and recalibrate and reset the nervous system. So walking barefoot in nature has been one of my number one things. It's been a very intense time. So take a simple thing like walking barefoot in nature. It's really going to change you. Changing the foods and listening to the body, because the body is the tuning fork to telling you the truth. So you want to move forward in life, and you want to, life is not just about eating one food or having one type of lifestyle, but moving with the ebbs and flows of life, right? And that's why a lot of people ask me about my diet. You could ask me about my diet because a lot of people are waiting for that video. You can't follow a label in a world where, like the weather changes, or if you go to the beach, some days there's rocky waves and some days you could just float. Right? You can't just go float, when the waves are coming crashing in. So you're going to have to be adaptive and listen to your body during the changes. Weight training is so important. Okay. It's one thing, I implement a lot of calisthenics, but to actually, press against the weight and pushing deep into the muscle, we have to get down to the bone. So along with that, walking barefoot and doing it for a consistent time, and you're building piezoelectricity every time that the foot hits the ground. Nervous system, electricity, right? Sending signals through the body. And the last thing I want everyone to focus on, really about your nervous system. Years ago, when I went to the university, I went to St. John's, I took a theology course. And I was given this line: a quality of life over a quantity of stuff. In our lives, we deserve the things that we desire, right? But sometimes people, it's just about accumulating, so much wealth or so many physical things, and and that just becomes your life. And then you burn yourself out. This is known as the modern day hustle culture. Some people in life, they need to get motivated to get up off the couch. Is Tom still sitting there eating his nachos and cheese? Okay. Some people need that motivation. But then some people go overboard as well, consuming so much, right? This literally will change your life. And this is how I live my life with balance. I know specifically the things that I'm driven for. I'm gonna be motivated and work hard on. And then I'm also, not as a luxury, as part of my everyday life, there has to be part of the day where I'm spending the time relaxing, resetting the nervous system. So there has to be balance in life. There's a balance of action, of drive, and then there's also the rest and digest. And it really is about a quality of life. I know the things that are needed in my life. I needed the peace. I needed the beach. I needed certain things. But I didn't need the crazy quantity of stuff. And people, especially people in their 20s, they're influenced, and women as well. Your nervous system, ladies, has to be calm. So as time goes on, our nervous systems are all different. So we want to make sure that we're focused on a quality of life. And how do we achieve that? There's no dollar amount on that. However, the wealth, and we are building generational wealth here on this channel and in this community, but it's not about ego or greed. It's about safety. When it comes to your nervous system, the wealth that you have in your life, the underlying energy theme is safety, that I have enough, that I can move on to, and really think about it. Once you have enough, then you're not in that fight or flight of the wealth. If you're a divine feminine woman and you have, that divine masculine, that protector, that provider, and you're supporting him the way that he needs to be supported, and you're moving back and forth. If you're the divine masculine, right, and you have that divine feminine that charges you up like a battery, and that you're constantly, she's making you generate. It's like a nuclear power plant. You have this balance. an amazing energy to have, and we're not in control of anyone else. But the most important thing is peace is your top priority. So you might not also have someone in your life, but getting to peace, that is the priority. These things will change your life once and for all when you think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So this broadcasted life, okay, it's actually a hologram, and our internal frequency is going to reflect back, right, the people, the things, and the situations in our everyday life. So really stay focused on solar plexus, gut health, nervous system, calibration, right, rest and digest, and releasing the fascia, stretching, walking, training, movement. Remember, a body at rest wants to stay at rest. And we want to do this in balance. We don't also want to burn ourselves out. Some people, right, and they go a little bit too over the top as well. So our life is about balance. And when we achieve balance, we will finally change our life and be happy and wealthy, wise, full of love, and living on a brand new timeline. So if this message has inspired you and has really changed your life and you learned something new, I'm so grateful if you would hit the like button and click the subscribe button. We have daily videos 9 a.m. Eastern time to help you become the greatest version of yourself. Comment down below. Okay, what are the changes that you're going to implement into your life? And have you felt a little, maybe some pains in the solar plexus? Your nervous system might, have an anxiety, right? Maybe have little knots in your fascia in certain areas, right? So all of these things can be addressed, and you could ask questions in the comment section, and I'll know for future videos what the community is interested in learning. And you could check out the related videos, the channel page. We have a tremendous Facebook that's growing every single day. And leave your comments. Stay empowered. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, Light Warriors, just keep going.